equation of lines, given 2 points. So to find an equation of a line, you must have the slope. Now let's go back over the slope formula. Right, it's our, usually abbreviated as m, which is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Now, in order to find the y-intercept, we use y equals mx plus b, right? And this is the same m here. And then we solve for b, which is our y-intercept. So now let's do some examples. Example 1. In 2007, a house was bought at a price of $132,500. The house was then put on the market and sold in 2018 for $187,500. The average annual rate of change in dollars per year in the value of the house is a slope. The slope-intercept can be found by using when the house was built in 2000. Find this as an equation of a line in terms of x, where we can use these as 2 points. So we have 7 and 132,500, and then we have 18 and 187,500. Notice that, right, what we're saying is in 2000, our x is 0. 2007, then as we do 2007 minus 2000, we get 7. And then in 2018, that's 18. So instead of putting all those points, we just start at 2000 as our x value, which would be 0. So let's find an equation for this to kind of show how over the years the price goes up in the house. So the first thing we're going to do is find our m, right, our slope. So this is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So this is our y2, this is our x2, then y1, which is here, and then we have x1. So let's go ahead and just plug in all these numbers. Well, we can see 18 minus 7, that's just 11. So we can just go ahead and write that. Now let's get our calculators out to do the numerator. So we just subtract and we get 55,000. Now, let's see if we can divide by 11 evenly. And we get 5,000. So m is equal to 5,000. So that kind of works out nicely that it just reduced to an even number. If not, you could just leave it as an improper fraction. So now, let's go ahead and solve for the rest. So if we have y equals mx plus b, we know what m is. All we need to do is actually pick any point, either x1 and y1 or x2 and y2, and then we'd plug them into our x and y, and then we'd solve for b. So let's go ahead and actually just use x1 and y1. So let's use 7 and 132,500. This is a comma. So what does that actually mean? So this means for this y, we're going to place in there. Our x goes here, and then our m goes here, and then we just solve for b. So all we're doing is just plugging in our numbers now. Then we have 5,000 times 7 plus b. So let's go ahead and write this out again. 5,000 times 7, well, that's 35,000. As we go, 7 times 5, which is 35, and then we have these 3 zeros. If you're not sure, you can always use a calculator. Now let's go ahead and solve for b. And so all we need to do is now subtract this 35,000 on both sides. That way I started out with the zeros just so I made sure to line up my place values. So now we have b on the right because this is just 0. Let's go ahead and subtract now. So we get 97,500. So what does our actual equation look like now? Our equation actually looks like this. So we put the 5,000 for m. We have an x plus 97,500. So what does that mean? Well, that means like when x was 0. So when this is x is 0, this all crosses out. So when the house was first put in the market, it was around probably 97,500. And then it just went up 5,000 about every year. So that's kind of what that means, like the slope. That's the value increase every year after 2,000 for each year. So you can plug in, right, any kind of year after. So you can plug in like say 10, which would be the 2010, and see what the price of the house was, right? So this is the price, this is the year. So that's why it's kind of a cool equation. So then you can kind of calculate what the price probably was at that year. Now let's do another example. Example 2. Find the equation of the line through 1 and -4, and then 3 and 5. So we just need to find an equation that satisfies these 2 points. So let's go ahead and start with our slope. Let's solve for that. We need our slope equation. Well, y2 is 5 minus y1, which is -4. So we'll put that in parentheses. x2, so 3 minus 1. So let's go ahead and solve for that. 5 minus -4, well, that's just actually adding, right? This crosses into making it a plus sign. So we have 5 plus 4, so that's a 9. 3 minus 1 is then 2. So our slope is, right, 9/2. Then we need to solve for our b-intercept. So remember our equation. We're solving for this now. This means we can pick any point. We can pick x1 and y1 or x2 and y2. I usually just do the first point. So let's go ahead and plug in our numbers. So this is going to be our y. This is our x, and then our m is going to be this. So let's go ahead and plug this all in. So we have y, which is -4, our slope, 9/2, and then x is just 1, and then plus b. Well, let's go ahead and rewrite this. We have -4 equals 9/2 times 1 is just 9/2. We have b plus b. Then all we need to do is go ahead and subtract 9/2 on both sides. Right? Because then we get b all by itself on the right-hand side. This just becomes 0. Then we have -4 minus -9/2. Well, what we can actually do is make this -4, if we want to make it out of, say, out of 2, we can change it into an improper fraction as -8/2. So that's -4. So we're going to place that right there. So the -8/2 minus 9/2 is then -17/2. So all we just wanted to do was get it over the same denominator. So we made an improper fraction. So now we can go ahead and write our equation because we have solve for our b-intercept and our slope, so that's everything. So we get y equals 9 over 2 x minus 17 over 2, because this is negative. The other thing you can do is y equals 9 over 2x plus negative 17 over 2. This means the same thing. You can write either one, right? Same thing. I usually just write it like this because I don't have to add the addition sign there. So it's just one less thing you have to add.